So you're thinking about moving to the Florida Panhandle and the beautiful Emerald Coast? Today on this channel, I want to share about this area called Cantonment, Florida. This is just northwest of Pensacola, and this is a really cool area. And what I want to do today is share with you the pros and cons of living at Cantonment, Florida. But before we do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Sean Killingsworth, and I'm a realtor here at the Emerald Coast. And on this channel, I'm gonna be showing you different neighborhoods, coastal communities, and beach properties from Perdido Key all the way up to Destin. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And then I'll show you what the ins and outs are of living here at the Emerald Coast. But today we're talking about Cantonment, so let's get to that. But before we talk about pros and cons, let me tell you a little bit about Cantonment. And on a map view, Cantonment is just northwest of Pensacola. It's almost combined with Pensacola. It's right there at the verge of that. It used to be a very rural area, not a ton of people living there, but lately it's really expanding. It's basically as Pensacola is just growing out. So Cantonment is growing quite a bit. A lot of new homes, a lot of new construction out that way. A lot of people are moving to Cantonment because there's a lot of great things about it. The median home price is about $322,000, and there's obviously higher price point homes and maybe some lower as well, but that's about the median that you can kind of expect out there. There's about 29,000 people that live out in Cantonment. There's the age range of those people is about 35 to 54 in age, just so you can kind of get a grasp on who's living out that way. About 77,000 is the median income for people in that area. And this is not one of the pros that I have, but it is a pro. It's a freebie that you get, is it has higher rated schools in Cantonment. So that's really good. So you can make sure you go out there. If you have a family, maybe some kids that are getting ready to go to school, you can get some great schools out there, and easy access to Pensacola because it is like right there, basically Pensacola, but it's Cantonment. Pro number one is the affordable living here in Cantonment. So a lot of people, when you're considering an area down here, in comparison to other cities around, the Cantonment price point might be a little bit more of a plus, like something that maybe a newer family or a new home buyer might be interested in, just because you could get a little bit more home for the money. And so the prices with that make it an exceptional choice of somewhere where you might want to consider. Number two is a tight-knit community. So up here in Cantonment, it's a little bit of a slower pace, but you get to know your neighbors. It has that southern hospitality feel, as a lot of this area down here does. And so you can get to know some of your neighbors. Maybe you play sports with their kids and have some barbecues together, but it has kind of that small town feel. And so you can get to know a lot of people there in the area pretty quick, which makes it maybe a great choice. Number three is the close proximity. You are in close access to so many different cool features of being here at the Gulf. Whether you have Pensacola, which has a ton to offer, maybe you work there, but maybe they have so many restaurants. I have another video about Pensacola, so you want to hear the ins and outs of that. Definitely check that out. But you're so close to the beach, which is only a 35-minute drive, which is some of the most popular beaches and amazing beaches here in the Gulf. You have Pensacola and Navarre, not too far away. So 35 minutes to Pensacola Beach. You're so close to the University of West Florida. It's about 20 minutes to get there. So maybe you're a student or have a student that's going to go to school there, this might be a great option because it's not too far as distance for that. You also have this 9-mile road, which is in Pensacola, but not far from you in Cantonment. It's just a little distance down, but they have so many things that are going in there. That road is actually starting to get kind of busy because of the amount of businesses and things that you have access. And a Costco's going out that way, which is great. So everybody loves an Aldi and a Costco, and I think they're both going to that area. So that's super handy. Number 4 is outdoor recreation. If you love being outdoors and doing different things outdoors, whether that's going to a beach day, which we kind of already talked about, kayaking, paddleboarding, exploring the area, this has a very big outdoor lifestyle here in Cantonment. You're so close to Beck's Lake, which a lot of people do go there for if it is kayaking or paddleboarding. It's a really calm water out that way, so you can go explore that area. They have the Navy Federal Reserve, which is this massive park that you can go to to, and whether you're into soccer or like pickleball, maybe your kids like to play at a park. It's a really cool park. You should check that one out. The Perdido River Canoe Trail is really cool. You can go out there and take a canoe on a trail system. Go check that one out. You have tons of hiking and biking and parks around this area. So if you love the outdoors, this could be a really cool place for you. And number 5, I recently saw a post where somebody was asking about this question. They were asking how safe is the Cantonment area as far as safety. So it's a big concern when you're coming to a new area. Is it going to be safe? And according to crimegrade.org, it's rated A in the Cantonment area, which is a great feel. That'll give you a great feeling knowing you're coming here, knowing that it is a low crime rate. So that's number 5. Let's go talk about some cons. All right, not everything is pros. I love the pros. Those are always more fun to talk about, but there's, maybe a few cons about being in this area. And because Cantonment is small, number 1 con, it hasn't been fully built up. So it's a little bit less amenities out there in Cantonment. You might have to drive just a little bit of a distance to go to Pensacola, kind of that main area, if you want to try some new restaurants and have a little bit more of a bigger city type of vibe or experience. But in Cantonment, it's a little bit slower, maybe not as many access to amenities. Number 2 is job opportunities. Being up there, maybe since it is smaller, there's not as many businesses, which means less access to businesses, unless you're willing to go to, let's say, Pensacola or maybe Pensacola Beach, something like that. Or maybe you already have a job, you already have that set, but just know in Cantonment, your options for jobs may be a little less unless you're willing to put in some miles on a drive time. Number 3 is your dependence on neighboring cities. So you can't find everything right there. Cantonment is a little bit smaller of an area, and so if you need a hospital, maybe you need special health care, you'll probably need to go a little bit further to get access to that. Or with schooling, if you're going to a college isn't right in Cantonment. You might have to go over to the University of West Florida, or Pensacola has a lot of colleges as well. So you are relying on different areas. It's not right there in that area. So just plan on that for maybe a little more drive time. Number 4 is public transportation. Being there in Cantonment, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a vehicle to get around, because you can't rely on the bus system to be able to take you to where you need to go. And since not everything is there in Cantonment, you're gonna need a way to access that. And so if you get there, things are probably a little too far to bike or walk to. So owning a vehicle is gonna be very important. At least having access to one is gonna be very important there. And number 5 is limited cultural and social scene. So if you're looking for hangouts, maybe at a restaurant, a bar, maybe the movies, bowling, hangouts like that. If you're looking for community events, most likely you're gonna be traveling to Pensacola, because that's gonna be where it's at. That's where you're gonna be able to have these events and things like that. And so if you like the slow, relaxed pace and you don't love neighbors, maybe you don't love a ton of social events, this could be a really great spot for you if you want to be off grid just a little bit more. But that's the 5 cons. Well, there you have it. That's the 5 pros and cons of living in Cantonment, Florida. So if you are looking at this area of evaluating, is this going to be the perfect place for you? I really hope that these questions were helpful. If you have more questions that I didn't answer, drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get you an answer on that. But if you are looking to move here, whether it's the next 6 weeks, 6 months, let's get on a phone call. All my info is below. You have my email, phone number. I'd love to book a Zoom call with you so I can get to know you just a little bit and understand what you're looking for exactly. My wife and I love helping people move here to the Emerald Coast. And so if that's you, let's reach out. Let's get that Zoom call on the calendar, and that way we can get to know each other. If Cantonment maybe isn't for you, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be showing you different areas. And so maybe next week I'll show you the exact one that you want to be at. But I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a good one.